So continuing from the previous video, they threw a track and they got it back on, so it's back in business here. But if you look here, this split in the road is, oh, I don't know how high, but it's definitely filled in here, but we've got another 3 feet of fill over here. And this recent spreading of the fill has brought it up another foot, basically 2-3 feet or more. You can see the level of the road. It's still, if we wanted it at road level, it would need to add another 6 or 8 inches after this of fill. So these first couple loads they brought were mostly dirt, which sucks, and now they're getting into these piles that are more gravel. So they'll have this done in a couple hours. Hopefully spread it out nice so that future dump trucks can come in, especially after this ground freezes up a bit, and we can get these loads throughout these winter months while they're tearing down these 79 buildings in Utica, and then finish this especially wet area first, and then proceed with the recycled concrete over fabric. That's an amazing piece of equipment there. And Randy is an amazing operator on the skid steer. He's into some pretty good stuff right now. He's taking the thinner pieces of concrete and bringing them back where we're extending the driveway, and then using his blade on the front of this machine and pushing it like a dozer over to that area. So it's a wonderful piece of equipment. He's kind of picking out the cement pieces. He has mentioned that when this is all spread out, and if it is just brick, it'll be much nicer to deal with, because you don't have big giant pieces of cement or any other material to deal with. So this guy on the skid steer, he's a great operator as well. So quite the project in this just first couple 100 feet, 300 feet of this driveway project. A lot of fill. So when you look down here, of course, that was the level of the ground. Actually, it dipped down a bit, so we're talking at least 3 feet or maybe more of fill. By the time we get done, it'll be like 3.5 to 4 feet filled in there. Now, some of these pieces need to be put somewhere else. These cement pipes they brought over, I don't need those. At least I don't need them here. So we'll pick them out and make a pile somewhere. Later on, next spring. But I'm happy this is happening today. Let's walk up here. Through this brush. I'll kind of point out what needs to be done farther north on this driveway. Actually, the driveway, this area, it's not quite running north-south, but pretty close. see this area right now, he's adding another, say, foot. And if we can get it all pretty even back to this area, right here, where this stump I cut out is, then later on these trucks with hopefully brick and cement can back up right to this area and dump their loads all the way up to the road. Now that area that he is dealing with now was about 13 loads. And if they put the loads tight, which they're not sometimes good at, not always, they stack them tight, they could probably get 25 loads in here of this really good fill. And then take that, push all this brush back, and then layer in the brick. Be a good base. Put a couple feet in here. Over to that. There's a fence post over there. I don't know if you can see it. So do this about 15 feet wide in here, maybe a little wider for a base. And once that's down, all this will be pushed way back. And the corner here has to be widened. That pushed way back there. I think this side is okay. So, wide sweep here. Once we get brick up to here, there's a stone wall here. And it's a little bit wet on the other side of this stone wall. So I'd like to see enough brick fill, because this is wet here, to about this area right in here. That's about 50 feet from that stone wall. And then it starts to go up in elevation. And I think if we just laid down, I think I'll lay down 8 inches of this fill over fabric in this area. And then as I get higher in elevation, drop it to 6 inches. And that should make a nice tight driveway. That's the plan. And hopefully the price next year is the same, which is $10 a ton delivered for this recycled concrete. So all in all, it's still about 200 feet after that one area they're working in now to add as fill. I guess I could figure out how many yards that is, but not right now in my head. Anyway, this is the line where those marker tape is. Basically, there's kind of a ditch somebody did with a probably just running a wheel down through here. That's about the boundary, a little bit to the right. Oh, that is high. Anyway, and then this is a marker stake put in by a surveyor. Somewhere down there, there's a steel pin, and this is a separate lot here, 1.5 acres this way, and 210 feet wide by whatever, like 300 feet long. maybe someday I'll sell that for a house up front. But right now, over the time, I'd like to clear this field and plant blueberries. But I think I would have to grow the blueberry bushes on my own in a greenhouse, because otherwise it's just too damn expensive. You need about 10,000 blueberry plants per acre. I believe that's the number. So they're going at it. Wow, they're almost done here, so I don't know if they'll get all the way back where that stone is, but hopefully. So Randy and his guy, this is not his son. Wow, look at that. He's a good operator. So he's going to layer those bigger pieces down in here and cover them with fill, cover them with whatever this stuff is, gravel, filling in the holes. Some of them are just too big, like that. So he's pushing them off to the edge. It's really fine pieces of equipment he's got here. Certainly, if anyone viewing this in the area, you need work, give them a call. Some of this crap they brought in, I mean, they threw stuff they shouldn't have thrown in on there. Like these pieces of culvert pipe. So later in the spring, all these pieces of concrete on the edge, either he'll do it or I'll rent a mini excavator with a thumb and pick these up and make a pile somewhere. There we go. Junk. Really, these people knew it was fill. Shame on them for throwing that crap in there, but yeah, I don't know. This stuff, it's kind of muddy. Not great fill, actually. Well, it's fill, but, you know, we've had a fair amount of rain and snow. So hopefully it'll firm up, freeze up, if it's left smooth enough for the trucks to drive over. That'll be good. There's all my brush piles that I did by hand last fall, a year ago. That'll make a great bonfire at some point. So I'm happy with his work. I mean, his work is great, actually. But he's a busy guy, so. So after all that stuff down there is gone, it's basically, I'm not sure what he'll use to grade this off, but either his track skid steer or mini excavator, just to smooth it out so that it will eventually freeze up. We'll be able to get more loads. So yeah, a layer of brick across here would be a fine topping for the fill. All right. Well, he's just finishing up now. They've got all the piles moved out right up till here. And of course it's pretty soupy, some of this stuff. So basically what you want to do is backblade everything going out to leave a smooth surface, with the understanding that basically this stuff will freeze up after a couple cold nights, where it's strong enough for dump trucks to come along and dump their load. As you can see right there where he's done some backblading, so as he's doing now. So that's the idea. With the right drivers dropping their loads, dump truck loads, we could probably get 30 loads in here, 30 triaxle dump truck loads in here that will sit here till the spring when things warm up a bit and dry up a bit. And hopefully that'll bring us right up there and around the corner. So I guess we'd want to keep this level right up to that stone wall going out and up through to the woods. So alrighty. Oh, this stuff certainly is soupy. Hopefully we get a good week of cold weather to let this stuff freeze up